And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, friends traders. Welcome to the market recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Tuesday, September 21st. Markets stay inside, but settlement play works for a lot of these markets here today. And if it wasn't settlement, we had some really good opportunities running both extremes of value area in a lot of these markets. Stocks stay inside. They tried to claw back a little bit here today, but unable to. And I don't think there's a shock or any there for me. Expected inside day. We've got FOMC statement coming out tomorrow. No one's going to let this thing go anywhere. We're going to wait and see what Powell has to say, what the Fed's got to say. Obviously, there shouldn't really be any expectations of rate changes, but it's all about the language that he's using and what he's going to talk about and how he's going to react to it. Today, I want to take a little bit at the end of this to kind of talk about this concept of, I call a heartbeat, right? That was one of the first things taught to me when I got into trading. My father used to tell me all the time, you can use any strategy in any market, but you really have to understand that market first. Just because the strategy may work in one product, it's not going to always work in the other until you get comfortable with what we call the heartbeat of the move. And that really requires watching it, reacting to it, understanding how it's going to play out. I've been really paying a lot of attention lately to the Nasdaq. And Nasdaq, I'm working in that heartbeat, trying to get an understanding of it. And it was something that I've really focused on here this last couple of months, is really focusing on that heartbeat and trying to make sure I'm in rhythm with it, because I was always more of an S&P trader, and the Nasdaq's a little bit different. So we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. Today, crude oil opens up pretty much right above settlement price, breaks down, comes down, makes a new low. We're going to take a look at here in a minute. Crude oil continually making new lows during regular trading hours. That is telling us quite a bit. We want to make sure we're paying attention to that. You got the S&P 500 opens up higher this morning. We had a nice move in the overnight session. Weaker volume. Yesterday was a huge volume day for these markets. A little bit less today, but still really great volume. 1.8 million contracts in the S&P 500. Opens up higher, closes that gap to settlement price, and really just kind of works its way. It stays pretty tight all day long, up and down a little bit, but settlement was kind of a key area to keep an eye on, and a little bit more than that. We'll take a look at that one in a moment. Nasdaq, same exact concept here today as the Nasdaq. They mirrored each other. Nasdaq opens up higher, closes gap to settlement price, runs down a little bit. I want to touch on actually a couple levels that you should be paying attention to if the Nasdaq continues this move lower. The 5%. 5%, and I'll talk about this in just a moment, but or I'll continue to reiterate it. The 5% retracement off of highs is 14,924 3/4. Again, that is 14,924 3/4. That is the 5% retracement. Now the 10% retracement from our highs, 14,139 Again, that is 14,139 Let's make sure you're marking those on your charts. You're keeping an eye on those as this market works lower. We did check that 5% in both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq yesterday. Nasdaq even right around there today as well. The 5% was today as well. So as this market, if it continues in this downtrend, those are going to be some areas we want to keep an eye on. That 10% really has my attention. I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on that one. Gold, we break out of that little bit of a range that we were in the last 2 days. We held above it. We got an opportunity, kind of pulls back near the high side of that a little bit after the equity opened this morning and we kind of pressed higher just a little bit. So that's good to see there. Euro, very tight day here. The move off the open, close the gap to settlement price, and then all day long it just chops along, settles, and then the 10-year note opens up last night or this morning, away from settles, closes the gap to settlement price, works around settle, kind of checks, breaks off of that yesterday's regular trading hour high. That's really what caught my attention there. That was a good opportunity. So let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here and go from there. I want to say hello to everyone first. Ricardo, good to see you. Bill, Vince, NM, Nasdaq is like a crazy girl who turns on you at the last minute. How about that? Jerry's awake. Good to see you. Raise our trades. Fun day. A little bit of everything on the MNQ. Absolutely good opportunity. I'm going to say it one more time. 5% retracement in the Nasdaq. 14,924 and 3/4. Again, that is 14,924 and 3/4. It'd be really great to have a team that produces these videos and they could just slide that number in so you can see it. It's a lot. I'm not able to handle that on my own. 10%, 14,139/4. Again, 14,139/4. Those are our retracement levels. Here, as you can see them there, 14,924 3/4. We got them there. Let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here and see what we got going on today. Robert, good to see you as well. All right, as always, we're starting with crude oil. Like we said, crude oil, 1 day, 2, 3, 4 days. We're continuing to make new lows in these markets. What's that telling me? This market is in a downtrend. Whoops. It's in a downtrend. We're looking for strengths that we can short to maybe go check new lows during each regular trading hour day. So this morning we opened up. This is what I really like to see. We opened up this morning and we pressed higher. We made an attempt to close the gap up to point of control from yesterday. We failed to reach point of control. If we fail when we're getting that close, what's the next move? Well, that's all the way up here at 70.80. What do we have down below? We got settlement price down here at 70.14, which happens to be just below yesterday's value area low. If that's not a call to my eyes right there, looking for an opportunity, it sure is. Market continues all the way down through yesterday's swing low. Like we said, we're making a new low. To me, great opportunity to catch a short off the open. Now, we make that low. We start to look for a retracement. Here's what we were looking at. Here's what we're thinking about, right? If we start to make that new low, we're going to look for, if we're looking for longs, we want to see this market start to rotate, right? We can fade those extremes. We make a new low. Now's our chance to possibly start to look, where's the volume going to come in and push this market to the upside? We start to see some volume coming back in as we're making the new low, and we press right back higher, and we worked ourselves right back into value area. I'm going to struggle playing the long down here. Really am. Market continues to make new lows. I'm not going to try and fight that. To me, the big move of the day was right off the open. Break it down to settlement price. Break it down to yesterday's swing low. That, to me, is our big opportunity of the day. And for sure, if you were to catch this long, you got some opportunities. But you got to be cautious on the long side when the market is trending lower. So that's really what I'm going to pay attention for. Looking for strength. I'm going to short that strength and continue with trend. We'll see if this trend continues and we make a new low during tomorrow's regular trading hours. I wouldn't be too against that. I wouldn't mind seeing gas prices come down a little bit. Next, let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500. Now, great opportunities here in the S&P 500. What do we got down here? We got point of control down at 43.49.5, 43.49.5, and we've got settlement price down here 43.48.25. 43.48.25 is settlement price. We open away from settlement price. We make this press. We try to go higher off the open. I'm watching this move off the open. I was hesitant to take the short right away, thinking maybe we're going to first check overnight highs. We did not get there. We failed pretty quickly. And as soon as we got back towards value area yesterday, to me, this was our chance. That's when we get to start to look for our opportunity to short and see this market rotate inside. That's what I'm expecting. Day ahead of FOMC, day after a big move. I'm not looking to see this thing recover everything. I'm looking for that hangover day, as we like to talk. Now, here's what I love. This day really defined itself nicely. We rallied right back up to right to where we opened up, and we broke one more time, and we came back and checked the lows. This market is marking lows and continuing lower. Don't forget, though, we still got an unchecked point of control from last Friday up here at 44.20, is our unchecked point of control up above. So let's keep an eye on that. Possibly tomorrow, maybe the Fed's going to say some things and possibly run that back up. But to me, we got a nice defined range here. This is when you really get to sit on your hands, be patient, and make that money, right? We defined those extremes. Those extremes are pretty defined in the first hour of today. That's when you get to start looking for opportunity. Maybe you missed the first one and the second one, but then you get a third back up to where we opened, and we broke back down to settlement price, caught the rally again, and we just did it a couple times. So there was some great opportunity in this market. Same principle is going to apply today to the Nasdaq. Nasdaq opens up above settlement price away and makes the same initial move. Makes that initial move right up to possibly going to check overnight highs. Did not get there. Failed pretty quickly. I was sitting here trading this on the open this morning, and I was thinking maybe we got a chance, but it rolled over pretty darn quickly. As soon as this thing rolled over, we got a point of control from yesterday right down here at 14,890, let's call it 14,890 is point of control with settlement price a little bit above that at 15,000. 9.5 is settlement price. Boom. This market trades, works off point of control, value area high from yesterday back to where we opened up today, rotates back lower to point of control and settlement price, right back up to the 80s, and rotates back over. Now, I'm going to talk about this in just a moment. This is the market. I'm going to kind of use this idea of looking at the heartbeat of the market and understanding how it's reacting. My chart's just freaked out. There we go. Understanding the heartbeat of the market. The more you watch this, the more you're paying attention to the price, you start to understand where it's going to hit those walls. We could watch it here all day long. If you're watching how order flow works, if you get enough time paying attention to the dome and where this market's moving and the price action that we're getting, you would have noticed that every time this market ran up to 1580 today, you saw hesitation. You saw it all of a sudden slow down pretty darn quickly. We really saw it here in the last half hour, 45 minutes of the day. This market just kept holding and was like trying to knock the boxer down, and the boxer is standing strong. When you start to watch it, that's when you get to recognize, hey, market's rolling over. Market's going to sell off here. Here's my chance. I can execute the short now. All right, next, let's go ahead and look at the gold market. Like we said, gold opens up outside of yesterday's, that range that we talked about. We made an initial pullback off the open. We came pretty darn close to that. We did not get there. We failed to get there. And that's a quick sign of buyers are overpowering this market. Look to see new highs made. Remember, we've still got that unchecked point of control up here at 1797. 1797 is our unchecked point of control. Market's chipping away at getting up there. But right now, here's what we saw. This was, to me, the move. We got the break a little bit off equity open here. Equity's got the pop initially, rotated lower. Look for gold to rotate higher. Did exactly that. Good opportunity. Utilizing that swing highs over the last couple of days that we have seen and we failed to get to. Market continued in our direction with the overnight trend. So we find that weakness. Overnight trend continues. We find our weakness. We look for trend to continue. Remember, trend is our friend so long as we're being patient and waiting for those weaknesses in the uptrend or strength in the downtrend. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Like we said, euro opened up this morning away from settlement price. So we open up well above yesterday's value, above overnight high. Market rotates, starts to move lower. We have a hesitation trying to get into yesterday's value, but as soon as we accept into value, we were off to the downside. You've got settlement price in this market at, where is my, it was 117.44, which is where we are ending our day right now. So market rotates inside, comes down to settlement price, and I love it. I love it. I love when a market plan comes together and the market works both sides of value. We accepted into yesterday's value. We rotate to the low side of yesterday's value, and we hold, and we stayed inside. We rotated right back up to settlement price. And like we said, rest of the day, just chop all the way along settlement price. So good opportunity in the beginning of the day towards the afternoon. Pretty tough trade. Lastly, let's go ahead and look at our 10-year note. 10-year note, we had the big move yesterday. We broke down a little bit last night. Market started to pick up, and we opened up right at yesterday's value. We've got two options here right off the open. What are we looking for? We're going to see if this market makes the initial move higher. It does. Market makes the initial move higher, does not trade and accept outside or stay below value, accepts right inside value. We have to be quick to react because we've got two great targets up above. Point of control, value area high. And that's what we're looking at. If you miss the initial buy, this is where you're starting to possibly have to be patient, right? we do have unchecked point of control up here, just a few handles or a few ticks up above. I'm going to have a harder time shorting here thinking there's a chance we can get to point of control. So I have to be patient. I got to wait and see if I'm accepting outside of value. It took us all day to prove, or all morning to prove we were not accepting outside of value. Market rotates right back inside and almost down to yesterday's value area low, but right to where we opened up. So to me, you had to catch the initial move. Otherwise, you're being really patient, waiting to see if yesterday's value area is going to hold, value area high is going to hold and reject us breaking outside. It took a while. We finally rejected breaking outside and rotated back inside. So inside day, remember tomorrow is FOMC day. Part of the reason you're going to see some of these markets staying a little tight right now, not looking to get hugely directional, waiting to see what Powell and the Fed has to say tomorrow. And I was short on the open, but didn't hold through the value area from yesterday. How the heck do you know whether to hold through value area or not? And I wish there was a science that I could say, hey, look for this exact one thing. Not going to be the case. That's really where I'm willing to start to move some stops up. Once I start moving through value, if I'm moving through them, we're starting to check new levels that I have in play. Then we can start to move some stops up and just kind of working it there. Otherwise, order flow, momentum, paying attention to that volume's coming in, right? If the basic principles of volume really are one of the only things that I think can help anyone in those instances. Basic principle of volume says if market's moving in a direction and volume's continuing to increase, look for market to continue in that direction. If you start to see that divergence where volume's falling back as the market's still going in that direction, that's when you'll start to recognize, okay, volume's dying, I'm losing volume in a directional move. I should look to see this market possibly stop and rotate higher. That's probabilities. Not always going to work that way. You may continue to see the market go in a direction as volume thins up, but more often than not, you'll start to see, hey, I'm seeing less and less volume come in on a directional move. Look for this thing to slow up and possibly retrace. On the flip side, volume's continuing to come in. That's a sign that you can stay in that trade and possibly continue in that direction. Not a pretty close. Look to the left for support and resistance levels. Not sure. Support and resistance, you can put them on your charts. I would definitely recommend using more than just some indicator on those. I use my own systems that with a bunch of math and values to kind of define my own levels there. Frederick, a little bit, not too much on the tape there. So what do we got going on? Let's kind of take a look at some of our things here. It's the only like true point I can actually point out and say, hey, this could help. Like I said, there's not an exact science to it. A lot of times it's strictly recognizing that it's going to go. I'll tell you, I did it. I'll give you guys a personal little lesson learned today. I took a long in Nasdaq. We were rallying. We rallied from like 88 up to like 54 or 55, and I was pretty happy with that move and close out my trade. And next thing you know, within seconds, that market popped up to 100. So, missed out on a additional 50-point move. I'm obviously happy with the profit I took in my trade, but to me, everything was saying, hey, this thing might slow up, rotate lower, be cautious here, be patient, or be cautious here. Don't try and push this thing too far. You've got a great profit in this. I hit a profit target. I was considering letting it run, peeled off. I swear I closed out that position. Thing popped. Happens to all of us. We're going to miss some of the extra moves, but as long as, we're running to those profit targets that we want, that's a successful trade. All right, let's see here. We got Bitcoin. Where we got Bitcoin trading at today? 41,710. So continuing to peel back just a little bit there. Now, let's go ahead and look at some of our meme stocks. I know we're all excited about those guys. What the heck? go. Too many things on my screen sometimes. AMC. Oh, actually, let's start with their Airbnb. Remember along that one, 148. We got a great day here today. $169.29. One of our nice mover here today in the Airbnb stock. Remember along that 148. So we got a nice 21 bucks in our move here. AMC, $38.82. So another down day there. GameStop down as well, $189.95. Tesla holding pretty steady right around that 740 mark today right now, or $739.38. Robinhood, nice up day for the first time in a while. Robinhood up $42.29. And lastly, no surprise here, VIX back a little bit. We peaked up to 25 and a half. Going to end the day right at 24. Awesome. Let's see here. Frederico, Bitcoin is bottoming in my honest opinion. You know, I struggle. I couldn't call tops and bottoms. You never know. It's been such a volatile, fickle product that I'm hesitant to make any crazy calls on that one. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on that one, Frederico. Keep us posted if you think it's bottomed here. I really thought we could have had a big year, and then we were long at 34,000, and then we went against. We get back in the money. That thing's all over the place. Keep an eye on that for us. Keep us posted. Vince, the reverse happened to me today. And gold took the breakout and tried to hold, and it turned around. Still had a bit to gain, but much smaller than it should have been. Yeah, absolutely. It happens to all of us, Vince. We all have these moments. It's working through them. Lessons learned. If there's one thing I could say, today's coach's playbook, we spent a lot of time talking about journaling. Recommend it. If you have someone that you can work with, you can talk to while you're trading throughout the day, even just sitting on the phone, really will make a huge difference. I'm on the phone every morning for a few hours with some people. We're not really talking half the time. We're calling out what we see. And basically calling out our trades as we're in and out. And that's kind of what a couple of us do when we're trading actively. And what's nice about it is you call yours and someone may go, what are you doing? Yesterday you said you're not doing that. Oh, great. Thank you. Thanks for the clarity. Thanks for the accountability there. If you can find someone to help you do that, that's really a benefit, especially someone that does trade similar to you. I work with a couple guys that trade very similar to me when I'm trading. Fed's coming tomorrow to pump the market. You think it's going to pump? We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of talk about tapering now that we're coming in towards Q4 here. We'll see what happens there. Jerry's Awake Journal, which is better, pen and paper or computer? Jerry, I'm a pen and paper guy. Everything is done on cards. I do then transfer things into a spreadsheet, more just for database purposes, tracking data for myself. When I was younger and going through school, some kids, laptops were starting to be a thing when I was a freshman or when I was in college, and some people were using laptops, some people weren't. And the professor always said, professors always said, you're going to learn more if you write it, then transfer it to your laptop. They didn't want us using laptops in class usually. I find it interesting. I prefer to write. I have these, what I love, they're a game changer for me, is hard cards. Trading floor. You can get them at Lazari Printing. It's in Chicago. You can order them from them. Just call them and ask for hard cards. It's Lazare Printing out of Chicago on Wrightwood Avenue in Chicago. Highly recommend these. They hold strong and they're fun because you can tear them up and you can throw them at people as they walk by. They're beneficial to me. I don't go anywhere without them when I'm trading. So that's really my big journal here. I mean, everything, it's gibberish, circles and squares, everything means different things. When it says plus 15, that means one thing to me. Everything means something different. And I run just columns on them. They're really beneficial for me. Okay, where else we got? Tomorrow, economic releases. We talked about this a couple times. FOMC. Pay attention to that. 1 p.m. Central Time, crude oil number every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Central Time, unless we're in a holiday week. And then Powell will start speaking around 2:30. Next, I wanted to touch on this one. Understanding the heartbeat of a market. It's when you're trading, I would recommend if you're going to go trade into a new product, sit there and just watch the dome. Maybe get in a sim just to click on, because when you're clicking them in and out, it forces you to pay a little closer attention. You're going to recognize this market moves maybe a little bit differently than the previous thing. You start to see how levels are holding and they're not. Today, sitting here today, I watched a few different levels hold, and you could watch reactions at them. You could see trading coming in. You knew you were about to get the move you wanted. You could see when 88s and 80s, 980s in the S&P, when that stuff was holding, when we were trading down there, you could visually see it, not at the chart, but you could see it in the dome. And watching that dome, you can watch where it's hitting. And you can start to tell, hey, it's really struggling here. I don't need to look at much more other than I think we have a chance to rotate back higher. We're looking at a level that lines up with my channel that I'm looking at. I'm starting to see it. All right, we're getting stronger here. We're holding firmer. Now's my chance. I can execute here. I can keep my risk pretty tight. And I can see possibly to get this thing to rotate higher. Now, when it's in a directional move, something like yesterday, you start to see it run, and you'll see these markets pull back. And the same principle applies, right? When you're in a downtrend, you're looking for that strength. And we start to see those strengths coming in. A lot of people, the initial thought is you're looking at your chart and you're seeing, oh, we're starting to turn around. No. You're just in a pullback. Wait and watch that dome. You'll start to see where we're really struggling. You're starting to see it struggle. And you're going to go, oh, man, I should have shorted, 08s. Now we're trading, 02s. Let's see if I can get back to 08s. And the next thing you know, you're trading 96s and it keeps going lower. You start to recognize that. And then the more you do that, the more you understand that heartbeat of this market, the more you start to understand that, the easier it's going to become to really pinpoint those entry points for you. Really going to be able to fine tune that execution. At least it works for me. Hopefully, something like that would work for you guys. All right, last but not least, this date in history, and we'll get the heck out of here. First and foremost, 1780 was the day that Benedict Arnold, American general during the Revolutionary War, commits treason against the United States, meeting with Major John Andre of the British Redcoats. I am in the middle of watching a show on Netflix called Turn. Highlights a lot of this. If you're looking for an intense watch, it's a great one to watch. Next, 2008. Those of you guys that are New Yorkers, was the last ever game played at the historic Yankee Stadium. And that one's it. That's what I got for us today. I hope you guys all had a great day. Sorry, I got a little long-winded here. John will be back tomorrow morning, though, 8 a.m. Central Time. But again, sorry I got long-winded. Hopefully what we talked about was helpful. Appreciate you guys all chiming in here. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and sign it out. John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.